is the greatest country in the world. Thanks for being here. Welcome to our special Politics by Faith, the Next Generation. We cannot be so focused on the present, the immediate moment of every day-to-day politics that we lose focus on building up the next generation of kids to be righteous, patriotic citizens. We have to care because the left sure cares. There's a quote that's attributed to Lenin. It doesn't matter who said it. It's true. And the quote is, "Give me 4 years to teach the children, and the seed I've sown will never be uprooted." The left is sure going after our kids, and they've been successful for generations. So we need to get into our kids' minds and souls with as much zeal as the enemy has. This makes all the difference. There's no other way that good things can happen. I am certain that one reason why our founding fathers were able to rise to such the occasion that they were able to is because of how they were raised. They were raised to be ready for the moment that they met. Are we intentionally doing the same for our kids today? I don't see it. I think we're winging it. I think we're just hoping it works out for the best. Donald Trump has used this line a lot recently, and I like it a lot. He's talked about the American golden era. We were talking here about this special and like what does this mean? What is the golden era? What is that? The American golden era. I like the ring of it. Sounds good. What does it mean? There's a lot of different aspects of it. You know, one of the main issues of the campaign was this realization that America is not just a GDP. We're not a shell company. We're not an LLC. Our strength and our existence has to be more than just GDP. Because if you only think we're a gross domestic product, if you only think that that's like all we are, then you're going to make certain decisions that don't consider how it affects people who live here. Right? We're not just a GDP. We're a nation. Right? But if you're only worried about a decision based on how it affects the economic growth as measured by a single metric, you're going to make some really bad decisions for people. Right? Something like, well, we need to sell more cars. Okay, how are we going to sell more cars? Well, let's bring in 20 million illegal aliens. They'll buy some cars. Right? Like, well, that's not, I guess if selling cars is your only goal in life, then I guess that's a good idea. But it's not really a good idea if you're a nation. So we realized, I think, going into this last election that we got to do better than that. We have to understand who we are and what makes this a nation. You know, I've said my whole life, and we've rebuked this many times on the show, that and I've said that America's an idea. Well, no, like I live here, so this is more than just an idea. Do you remember this World War II veteran from the RNC?
America, people say, America is an idea. But I believe America is much more than that. America is our home.
I love that guy. I'll never forget that guy. America's not an idea. America's a place. It's our home. It's a nation is a group of people who live in a place that we call home that have a shared culture. Okay, well, what comprises a culture? Well, culture is made up of values and beliefs and traditions and holidays and art and religion, things we all share together. Okay? So if we're not just a GDP, but we're a nation of people with a shared culture, great, I like that. What are these values that we share? Right? What are the things that matter? Is the point of America just to buy a bunch of cheap crap from China? Is that the point of this country? Golden era, this golden era that Trump talks about, it's more than just economic growth. It's part of it. It's part of it. But it's more than that. One aspect of a golden era, I think, is a resurgence of beautiful art. If you go to Washington, D.C., which I encourage you to do, make sure you go to the Library of Congress. And the builders of the Library of Congress over 100 years ago were very explicit. They'll tell you that we designed this building to look this way because we wanted to send a message to the world that we are a place that matters and America is a force to be reckoned with on the world stage. They were sending up, look at that thing. But that was like 1904. No, it was a little before that. It was 1898, I think, is maybe when they started that. Look at that. All right? That's part of the golden era. Part of the golden era is creating beautiful art and buildings. Part of the golden era is a pride of our nation, patriotism, a real patriotism. It's the 250th anniversary of our country coming up. A patriotism that we understand what America really is, like Trump's recent executive order getting rid of wokeness in every aspect of our society and our government that he possibly can, reclaiming our heritage, telling the right stories of who we are. Part of an American golden era is an era of invention. Right? This is why Elon and SpaceX is such a compelling part of this. Again, if you go to DC, the Wright brothers are everywhere. It's unbelievable. Like the Wright brothers are such an integral part. It's all over the Capitol building. There's pictures of the Wright brothers everywhere because that was a golden era of America where we would invent things that we could be proud of. For a long time, we've dedicated our greatest minds to making apps more addictive. Think about that. Think how pathetic that is. We said our greatest minds, how can we make this Candy Crush game more addictive? No, it's time in our golden era that we channel our genius to things that are more productive. Maybe part of the golden era, if you look back at golden eras in the past, maybe part of a golden era is expanding our territory. Greenland, Iceland, Canada, reclaiming the Panama Canal. If you look back at the golden eras that other nations and empires have had, there was an era of real advancement and contribution. Right? The Islamic golden era saw a lot of advancement in astronomy and medicine. India had a golden era, a lot of mathematic advancement. The Renaissance, beautiful music and art. The Greek golden era, a lot of architecture. Right? But see, no one looks back and is like, well, this golden era, a lot of money. Yeah, part of it, but there's more than that. And our golden era has to be more than just GDP. It has to be all-encompassing. Okay, so why do I bring all that up? One of the most important aspects of our golden era, if I may, if we're adding aspects to the golden era, what does it mean, golden era? My contribution, if I had to pick one, would be strengthening our families and raising our kids with an emphasis on virtue. That has to be a top priority in this golden era. Top importance. And it has to be intentional because the destruction of the family has been intentional. It's all been a plan by the devil. We'll talk more about that with our next guest coming up, right? But we see the fruit of it. Just look around. We see the fruit. 40% of all births are to unmarried women. What are we doing? Among black families, it's 80%, Hispanics 50%, white Americans it's 28%, Asian Americans it's 12%. So what's happening here? We have to be intentional about building back the family. Strong marriages, honoring our husband and our wife. Making this a top priority. I will know that we have lived through a golden era. Because that's how about think about it like this. 50 years from now, hey, was this a golden era? How do we know? Well, what the stock market do? No. What's the marriage rate? Are people getting married, staying married? That's a metric that we got to look at. What's the birth rate? Or birth rate too, but the out of wedlock birth rate, right? These are metrics that we got to start paying attention to. And then another step, the second step, is are we intentional about raising our kids to be men and women of virtue? We got to be intentional about it. And we need to love doing it. Very common today for people to complain about being parents and complain about having kids. And when you do that, you make people not want to have kids. Just bring everyone down. What's this woman's name? Is it Chappelle Roan? She's some pop star person. She was on some podcast. She's 27 years old. Here's what she said.
Part of me is like, is it even going to be legal to marry my wife one day, I don't know. So, but kids, all of my friends who have kids are in hell. I don't know anyone. I actually don't know anyone who's happy and has children at this age. I have like a 1-year-old, 3-year-old, 4 and under, 5 and under. I literally have not met anyone who's happy, anyone who has light in their eyes, anyone who has slept.
We'll talk more about that in our final segment. But she might be right. She might have an accurate assessment of her friends. It's the friends that need to change. And we all, like, who cares about sleep? You're raising souls. Kids are awesome. Kids are awesome. It's the best. Just yesterday, playing out in the backyard. Johnny's 5. He has a little wooden bow and arrow. He's running around, and Jamie, the 2-year-old, he's like, he was the attack dog. So Jamie would run after me. They both run after me. And Johnny would say, Jamie, get him, jujitsu him. So Jamie would come and he'd tackle my leg and I'd fall on the ground. And then Johnny would come up behind me and shoot me with the bow and arrow. And then I'd pretend to be dead. And I would only wake up when Jamie got up and got around and kissed me. And then I'd wake up again and we'd do it. We did that for like an hour. It was awesome. It was the highlight of my day. How can you beat that? It's the best thing in the world. Yeah, it could be hard at times, but all important things are. Kids are the highlight of every single day of my life. And they're also the most difficult part of every single day of my life. They're the hardest and the best. That's life. We need to celebrate having kids, and we need a society that honors parents and encourages parents. All of the important things in life are hard. You know, and ideally, here's a metric for a strong economy, to bring it back to the economy, right? Here's a metric, as opposed to just GDP. I will consider it a golden era economically when families can thrive with just one income earner. How about that? And mom can stay home if she wants to and raise her kids in these most precious years of their lives. That's a golden era economically. Forget about just GDP. Can families survive with one income? Can families thrive with just one income? That's a metric I want to see.